So it's about 4:30, just reached John O'Groats, out on the pier just past the famous sign that everyone ends up at. And next stop tonight, hoping to get to Dunnet Head and then start making my way down back towards Inverness again. My plan was to ride the length of the UK in 10 days, starting from John O'Groats and finishing at Land's End, as well as visiting both John O'Groats and Land's End as the most northeasterly and most southwesterly points of the UK mainland. I also wanted to visit the most northerly and southerly points at Dunnet Head and Lizard Point. This is Dunnet Head. Just cycled along from John O'Groats, about 15 miles or so. Got the lighthouse here, right on the headland, and then out there you're seeing the base of the Orkney Islands. So from here the journey is just south, straight through Castletown, and then on a back road, can't remember the name of it, it's a B road, towards Wick. To the right here are the sand dunes just outside Castletown. I made it down to Wick within a couple of hours, and by that time I just needed some food and a place to sleep. I eventually found a campsite just by Old Wick Castle. As I was getting ready to go to sleep, I started to think about just how much riding was ahead of me. Over the next 10 days, I needed to ride almost 1,600 kilometres and climb nearly 16,000 metres, and I'd have to find a way to cover some distance during the country's hottest day on record. Start my first full day on the road. I made it to Wick last night, and it's raining pretty hard here. The tent's going to be soaking to put away. I need to go into Wick and get some breakfast, and then I can get down the road and hopefully make it to just near or just past Inverness by this evening. About 8 miles north of Brora on the A9. I haven't really filmed very much today because this is one of those stretches of the journey I just wanted to get out of the way. The rest of the journey, there's B roads you can take and slightly quieter routes, but to get down from Wick, where I was last night, down to Inverness, if you want to do it in any kind of reasonable reason, there's not many options other than the A9, which is fast and busy, lots of trucks passing, and quite hilly as well, even though it's coastal. Hopefully I can get the ferry across the Cromarty Firth and then be past Inverness by this evening. Far out in the distance there, I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but the hills just under the bank of cloud in the far distance, that's all the sort of north shore of like Elgin and Forres and Lossiemouth. So it is in sight. And after I get to Inverness, there's a cycle path parallel to the A9 that will take me down towards Perth. Finally got off the A9 at Tain, and I'm on cycle route 1 to the ferry from Nig to Cromarty. An unusual sight in the Cromarty Firth is the group of old oil rigs which have been left here until using them becomes profitable again. Until then, they're just left here to rust, as it's cheaper than decommissioning them. The roads from Cromarty along the Black Isle towards Inverness were some of the best riding I'd had all day, and I quickly made it to the Keswick Bridge over the Bewley Firth. Once I was over the bridge, I made my way through Inverness and found a place to camp near Culloden. Packing up early the next morning, I made a start on the long route down towards Dunnet. Second full day on the bike, and just gone past Daviot on the way down the route, cycle route 7 to Aviemore. Cycle route 7 begins in Inverness, and from there it winds its way south, shadowing the route of the A9. The first major pass is at Slough, where route 7 comes close to the railway and the main road, before crossing underneath them and descending to Carbridge. From Carbridge, a pleasant cycle on easy roads brings you through Aviemore and around the western edge of the Rothiemurchus forest, before reaching Newtonmore and beginning the climb over the Dromocta Pass. This eventually descends to Blair Athol, Pitlochry, and finally Dunkeld. After a late breakfast in Tomaton, I climbed to the top of the Slough Pass, before beginning a fantastic descent underneath the A9 and over the railway towards Carbridge and Aviemore. From Aviemore, gently winding roads through woodland took me past Feshy Bridge and into Newtonmore. After Newtonmore, the trees began to thin out as I made my way up the long slow climb to the top of the Dromocta Pass. The cycle path then became a smooth ribbon of freshly laid tarmac, which descended for miles, bringing me out onto quiet back roads and the outskirts of Blair Athol. From Blair Athol, a short but hilly ride took me through Pitlochry and to Dunkeld, where I found my campsite for the night. Starting from Dunkeld, I was feeling a little the worse for wear after 2 long days in the saddle. I decided to make this day a slightly shorter one, stopping with family in the Borders before continuing on to Carlisle the next day. My route would take me south to Perth, and then from Perth, past Loch Leven, to Dunfermline. There I would cross the Forth Road Bridge to South Queensferry, and from there cycle through Edinburgh and out past the Pentlands into the Borders. The cycle path from Dunkeld to Perth and then to Dunfermline took me mostly on back roads over the hills. Around 3 in the afternoon, I reached the Forth Road Bridge and crossed to South Queensferry. After crossing, a steep climb up through Wester Hales and Colinton brought me around the outskirts of Edinburgh towards the dry ski slope and the road south. This is the start of the heat wave. It's only going to get warmer from here till Tuesday. It is only about 11 o'clock and already at 24 degrees. I'm heading down the road from Ledburn to Broughton and then Moffat via the Devil's Beef Tub, which is one of the nicest cycling roads in Scotland. So quite excited to do that descent. I've got a slow and steady climb from Broughton up to the top of the Devil's Beef Tub, and then from Moffat I'm pretty much at the English border. Maybe got 20 miles to go and I'll be at Gretna Green. From Moffat the heat really kicked in, and every opportunity I got I stopped and soaked my cycling top in cold water in an effort to keep cool. Cresting a hill on my way down from Lockerbie to Gretna Green, I caught sight of the northern mountains of the Lake District. After cycling the length of Scotland, I was about to cross the English border. So this is it, I've just come through Gretna and I'm in England. And I've only got about 15 more miles to go tonight. And tomorrow is peak heatwave day, so we'll see how that goes. I cycled around the outskirts of Carlisle in a beautiful sunset and made my way around the city to find a campsite somewhere between there and Penrith. Join me in the next episode on my ride from Carlisle to Bristol.